Hi guys, hope you are doing well. I am back with another couple pages in my December daily. This is two different kind of event type things. One is just the tradition of my daughter getting an advent calendar, and then the other one is an exercise class that I went to. We're doing this thing called the 12 Days of Fitness, and I wanted to capture that, and we took a group photo, so I thought that was perfect for my December daily. So for this particular page, I thought that there's the wording on the page was just too much. I really wanted to kind of tone that down a bit. So I'm just taking some gesso and I am using a paintbrush, just really dry as possible, and then trying to paint over some of this font so that it doesn't it's just not as much in your face. I wanted to kind of send it back to the background. I definitely knew it wasn't going to cover the font altogether, which is fine. I didn't need to erase it basically. All I wanted to do was to kind of hide it so it just wasn't so glaring with the photos. So that's what I did there. I just used that gesso. And now what I want to do is I want to mount my photos. This is paper from 49th and Main. I'm trying to decide if I like this one, and I do like this particular paper, so I'm going to mount my photo here. Again, just using my 3M adhesive. I thought it'd be nice to have a little bit of extra separation between the photo and the paper, so I am going to mount it on this coffee dyed paper, just a very thin border, nothing too crazy. And I like how this looks. Again, just separating it from that background paper that I'm going to be adding it on. Inking up all my edges. Again, I'm inking in this particular album. I really like the inking in these junk journals. I don't know, it just really separates the things from the other things. So for instance, the separates this mount or this mat from the paper as well. I don't know. I just like how it gives it that extra texture and dimension. It makes it just look more finished to me. I know a lot of people don't use inking, but I do like that. So now I'm just trimming around the edges using my big Tim Holtz scissors. I love these scissors. If you are looking for scissors that cut very straight, these are awesome. The fact that they're really long helps to cut straight because I'm not a very good straight cutter. And sometimes I just don't feel like using my little trimmer, so that is a good option if you are looking for something that cuts straight, but you don't always want to use your trimmer. And it's good for little pieces. I would say it probably doesn't cut, or it's not as easy to cut straight if it's a very long piece, but these smaller pieces that are basically the same length as the blade work pretty well with the scissors. So I'm mounting this photo on this paper. It's a green paper. This is from like a home improvement store. This is the paper that they use to kind of mask off floors and things like that when they're doing painting. So if you're looking for it, it is in the paint section by all the other like drop cloths and things like that. It's on a big roll and you get like a crap ton of it for a very small amount of money. So if you're looking for it, that's where you can get it. I think I got mine from either Home Depot or Lowe's, but I'm assuming most home improvement stores probably have something like this. And I just really like the color. The green is really nice. Obviously with Christmas it's perfect, but I just like it's kind of a neutral, nice color for a lot of my junk journaling that I do. Then I'm going to mount this on top of the red paper. This is from the 49th and Main that I'm using. And again, just using my scissors to trim it. And I like how this looks. I do think I want to trim it just a little bit more. It's a little bit too thick of a border, and I think I got it a little bit not quite straight. So I'm just trimming off a little extra there. And again, this is not a perfect craft. It doesn't have to be exactly straight, although I am very kind of anal and I do like everything like perfect, which it never is. So it's just my unrealistic expectations. So now I am working on the piece here. I think I actually lost some footage here. I had added some embellishment to the photo of my daughter and the cat. So you're going to see what it looks like, but for some reason I either forgot to record or I lost the footage, so I apologize for that. But basically I am doing some more hidden journaling on this page, and what I ended up doing was I just used a little garland there and then one of the tab tops and a little bit of fabric, and I stitched that tab top on to the little journaling card, and that's where my hidden journaling is going to go. So I apologize for losing some of that footage, but that's basically what I did. You can kind of see that little piece of fabric there under the tab, and that tab is just stitched on with a zigzag stitch. So now I am gluing on this little bingo card. I thought it was cute and covered up some of the wording that was distracting on the page. And I'm going to tie everything together, and you can see how on that top left photo I am trying to take the garland that is on that, it's kind of like the with the bell, And I'm making sure some of that garland is touching that bingo card so it doesn't look disconnected, and it kind of blends everything together. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about this when I'm doing it, is that I want to make sure I have layers and I don't want those layers to be disconnected. So I end up kind of making sure the little pieces of the greenery on that garland kind of touch that bingo card. And then I'm also going to make a cluster here in the bottom left. I thought that pink little illustration was a little distracting, and so I wanted to kind of cover it up just a little bit. I didn't mind it showing through, but I thought layering some of these embellishment pieces on it would make it look nice and not be as distracting as this big pink blob on the page. So I'm taking a couple different die cuts from Tim Holtz and from the 49th and Main collection, and I added those down, and then I wanted to do some stamping. I did have this what is it called, snowflake stamp set that I've had quite some time, and I thought it'd be really cute to add some snowflakes. I decided to do them in black and then on this brown packaging paper, and I was going to trim them out and then I was going to put them in the background. And I really like how this looks. Sometimes I will use like embossing on the snowflakes, but I thought the black was a nice accent because I have a lot of black in the background, and then I have that black on the music page on the right. So I thought this would look good. So now I'm going to punch a circle out, and I am going to have some trouble. This punch is horrible. I've mentioned this in a video. This is from Michaels. It is relatively new, but it is terrible. It is terrible, terrible, terrible. Do not buy the Recollections punches. I highly do not recommend them. I when you want to use coupons, we buy a lot of craft supplies, so anytime you can use a coupon to get some discounts on products, you do really want to do that, just because it all adds up, right? So of course I went to Michael's buying, one of these punches. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I need this size punch. I'll try the Recollections brand and using my coupon on it, and it is horrible. Like I'm just really disappointed. Again, even with the discount, it's not super cheap. So I would highly recommend spending a little bit more money going out and buying like the EK Success brand. I find those punches are really, really good. Stampin' Up, I believe, also works through Echo, or not Echo Park, but EK Success as well for their punches. So the ones that I received or purchased when I was a Stampin' Up demonstrator through them, those work super well. So I've just had a lot of luck with that particular brand. I'm sure there's other brands out there that work well as well, but I just don't have as much experience with those. So yeah, EK Success seems to be a really good brand of punch. But I don't know. I just had a lot of problems with the Recollections. And actually, I think someone commented on one of my videos that they had the same kind of issues too. So it's not just me, it's not just my punch. I think there is a general consensus that those Recollection punches are not super great. So now I thought I wanted to add a little bit of texture to this. I punched two little holes, and I'm going to tie a little bow with this red and white baker's twine. And I just like that dimension it gives. And I also glued, or sorry, not glued, but sewed on a little piece of that snowflake fabric that I used in that top photo tab under the tab. And I really like how that looks. I think it's cute with the little tails there and the little bow. So I'm going to glue that all down, that whole cluster section down. And that little candy cane strip is a really nice little shelf that all these embellishments kind of sit on, so they don't look like they're floating. And of course I forgot to glue it down, so I'm gluing it down now. A little more fiddly since I have to tuck it up underneath there, but it works. And then I will glue the ends of the little tails just so they kind of stay in the place that I want them to stay, so they're not moving around. And I think that looks cute too. I kind of wanted to look a little more like, I don't know, had a little more, I don't know what to call it, but I just wanted them to stay where they were instead of like laying straight down. So that's that. I'm going to glue the photo down here. Again, just using my dry 3M adhesive. It's really not a 3M. The adhesive that's in it's not 3M. I actually got it from another seller, another small business. Really like it. You can see there that it is super sticky, which is good and bad. But I really, really like it, and it's perfect for these pages that are out of the pocket. And if you are interested in buying that adhesive, I'm not sure if she still sells it or not, but I can look up where I got it from, and I can give you guys the link as well. I can't off the top of my head remember the site, but I can definitely get that for you and see if she still has some of that in stock. I bought it quite some time ago, but I really, really like it. It's been working really well for me. So I decided that that one snowflake wasn't quite enough, and I wanted to add another snowflake, so I'm stamping another one or two here. I think actually, I think I just do two more. And so I'm going to punch these out with my punches as well, and then I will add them to the more top section of the page. And this paper is really flimsy. So this is one of my EK Success punches, or my Stampin' Up punches. And look, it punches like a dream. It doesn't get stuck. This is also another one, not Stampin' Up, but EK Success. And it's going to punch wonderfully as well. Like I said, much better punches. But on that paper, that brown paper, it is really, really flimsy. So even the good punches don't always punch really well through that. So I do like to layer it up with another piece of like copy paper or cardstock. And that just helps for a cleaner punch. Anything that's more flimsy paper, the punches just don't like to go through. But this worked perfect. And I'm just going to glue those on. And now I'm going to work on the right hand side of the page. That left side is all done. Like I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is a little picture of the group that I exercise with on certain days, and we were having they were having a 12 days of fitness, so this is one of the 12 days of fitness. I think it was like, the theme was like squats. I can't remember exactly the theme name of the workout, but it had to do with squats, so we're all squatting in the photo. And I'm just going to embellish this up. This card here that I'm inking right now is one of those vintage like tally cards for, what is it, Bunko maybe? I'm not sure. It's just a tally card. What do you guys use tally cards for? I've never really used a tally card before. I just found them and I think they look cool. I think they're for Bunko? Bridge maybe? I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below. What are tally cards used for? So what I want to do with this one is I want to layer up the photo here. So I'm cutting out this kind of like envelope from the 49th and Main collection. I'm just going to do like a crazy cut here to mimic that kind of torn edge, so it still looks like that. I'm just using my little scissors here, just cutting quickly and jaggedly. And then I'm going to use this as a layering piece. I am going to trim off those corners again. I think that just makes the mat just look more finished. Ink all those edges as I've been doing. And then I'm going to see how this is all going to mount together. I'm trying to figure out how the layers are going to work together. I kind of finagled with this quite some bit. I can't remember if I kept all of it in the video, but I'm going to kind of play with it and move things around. I just wasn't happy, like some things weren't showing where I wanted them to show, some things were too close. Do I need to trim it shorter? So you'll see me playing with this for quite some time, just trying to see how it's going to best fit. I really wanted to use this envelope piece, and I also want to use this Christmas elves. I just thought it was funny that our whole group is here, and I thought Christmas elves was appropriate. The embellishments that I'm using for this page are kind of chunky and big, and it just takes up a lot of space, so I think that's why I was really struggling with mostly. So you're just going to see me struggle here a little bit until I get it. And I wanted to keep this in, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I edited this the other day. I wanted to keep this in so you can kind of see my process and what I went through and how I kind of moved and manipulated it until I got it the way I liked it. I thought it was kind of good to show that this time. Sometimes I cut some of that stuff out when I'm struggling and I can't figure out what to do. I cut that out a little bit just because I feel like that's kind of boring for you. But sometimes I think it also is helpful to see kind of what I went through to get it to where it ended up being. I really love a striped paper. I thought this was really cute, and I thought that separated it from the background a bit. I felt like it was all kind of blending together to me for some reason. So I thought adding the striped paper will kind of help separate it from that green layer. So I'm just going to trim it down. This one I decided to use my trimmer to make sure my edges were all straight. I love the stripy border. I think it's just so cute. I don't know. It always gives some extra funness to it. I'm going to trim off the corners here again just to kind of finish it off. I like how that looks. Inking some more, and then I'm going to add the elves there to the top corner. There's a lot of distraction in that top part of the photo, so that Christmas elves little label was perfect because it kind of hides some of that. So now I'm going to work on that cluster down there. For that little one tag that I just added down, I put that on the inside of the tally sheet because I kind of wanted it to be that dimension, and I put the number 4 because this actually is on the 4th of December. I put that number 4 on top of the tally card, and I just like how that looks as opposed to putting the whole cluster on top of the tally card. I put one up underneath the first flap and then the rest on top. The little circle is Mary. I thought that was good with the photo. And you can see ultimately I ended up not using that green envelope. It just didn't work on the page. It just wasn't fitting for me. So I ended up scrapping that idea and just going with that red and white candy stripe paper instead. Now I'm gluing my little cluster down. And I think that turned out really cute. I really like that little tally card. Oh, it is kind of Christmas theme. I couldn't remember if it was Christmas theme or it was just red and green, but it is Christmas theme. looking where I can maybe stick a little one of these die cut pieces. I thought these were kind of cute. I end up going with that first one that I pulled out. And I'm just going to try to figure out where it's going to fit best. I thought that one was going to be nice because it had little elfy looking people on it. And I like this one because it was an elf too. But it just wasn't working for me. So I did decide to trim it out. Oh, actually, I lied. I used that one. I forgot. I did use this one. So I thought the white was a little bit too much. So I ended up trimming it down much closer to the image. And I'm going to use that on this little tally card. And it blended in really nicely. And I thought it looked cute. And because I'm talking about elves in the photo, I thought that was an appropriate little embellishment to put on the card. Now I'm looking to see what else I can do. I thought it looked a little plain in the bottom. So I'm going to stamp this little Merry Elfmas on some of that brown paper, again to bring that brown paper from the left hand side of the page to the right hand side of the page. And I'm just going to trim that out and put that on the bottom there. Again, just filling in that gap. It just seemed a little bit empty over there. I'm just kind of trimming close instead of doing like a square or anything like that. I'm just trimming close to the letters so it kind of mimics the shape of the outline. I'm looking to see if there's something else I want to use, and I decided to use this little Christmas stack of Christmas presents, and I'm going to stamp that in red. I'm also going to put that on the brown packaging paper, and then I'm going to trim that out, and I'm going to kind of use that as an embellishment with the Merry Elfmas, just to kind of layer it up. Again, because there's kind of that like vertical and horizontal open space, I thought that would look nice there and tucked in. So after that, I'm going to end up adding my journaling, which I don't believe I show. I might show you at the end result what that looks like, but I do add some journaling to this page, hidden on the left-hand side and a little bit on the right. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you are enjoying this series, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love to have you. If you have any questions, leave those below, and I will be back soon to share some more videos, hopefully. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.